So the thesis that I presented to the CEA and the officers in the Indian Economic Services cadre was that work from anywhere is a tool for economic development, especially in smaller towns. And this is not only true for India, this is true globally. So smaller towns around the world have faced a brain drain for decades. So the story of smaller towns, people who grew up in smaller towns will identify with this, is you grow up, you finish high school, then you leave for college and you never come back. And then smaller towns have been trying to attract companies for decades, and they pay tax breaks and incentives. And companies say they will set up 5,000 jobs. They take the money, but they set up like 500 jobs. And the argument is we don't have talent. Who should we hire? And young people are leaving because they're saying there are no companies. Where should we work? So it's a chicken and egg problem. And the thesis I've had for a long time is work from anywhere and remote work breaks that vicious cycle. Because now, instead of paying a company hundreds of crores to set up an office, you can attract remote workers to your region, directly pay the individuals. And they already have a job, so they don't have to look for a local job. So this is what the city of Tulsa in Oklahoma did very successfully. They've had a program to attract remote workers since 2019, even before the pandemic. They thought 50 people will come, and they have attracted about 4,000 families so far, which is, in the context of India, not a large number, right. But for the city of Tulsa, that's a very, very healthy number.
Right.
And there are now 50 cities across the US heartland, in Michigan and Ohio and Wisconsin. And in Spain, the region of Extremadura is paying remote workers 16,000 euros to go and live there. And so my argument to the CEA and the officers in the economic cadre was, why can't work from anywhere be used to revitalize smaller towns across India, especially in regions that are struggling to keep its talent? So think about the east of India, for instance, so Bihar, Odisha, and even parts of West Bengal. And there was a very positive acceptance of that thesis, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get to the next stage of our discussions. First off, the economic rationale for why smaller towns and remote workers are a great match is very simple. Smaller towns, the biggest benefit of smaller towns is cost of living. So if you think about housing costs in Mumbai or Noida or Gurgaon and compare it with the housing costs in, Nagpur or Hubli or Durgapur, it's an order of magnitude lower. So for a young person, a young tech worker or a young pharma scientist working on data, it is much more attractive to go and live in a smaller town, especially if they have family around. Because then as someone Hillary Clinton famously said, you need a village to raise a child, right? So if you have your folks around you and the cost of living is lower, it's a great quality of life for a young person. The only thing they don't have is jobs, but the remote work already has jobs.